I'm Sam. I work at Residently. This is my first NRUG talk in 6 years, where I did I did a live demo of Capybara to a live system without any internet at the BBC. It was a real disaster. So I had 3 pints during that talk. Today's talk is entitled "Some Things Are Worth Learning Even Though They're Not That Intuitive, and Git submodules Might Be One of Them." So I like Ruby and I like doing some stuff, and I'm in a new team at the moment where we've got a load of green fields. So sometimes I take these decisions that I've been making my whole career, like, oh, that's a bit hard to learn, now I won't bother doing it. And we're re-examining those, and we've got this cool team now that says, well, we're smart people, why must we act so stupid the whole time? Why don't we try doing some things that are actually a little difficult? So I think of things like that are fun trolling, that maybe we shouldn't do, although they are fun. I think of things that are efficient but dangerous. And I think of things that are good but not intuitive. I have some Ruby examples. I'm a Ruby developer. A good piece of code that I enjoy is the I with the parentheses. Obviously, you can use the braces, and Ruby's very nice, and it matches the braces for you. But as you know, you can actually go full troll and use the percentage sign as the delimiter, or the tilde, or the dollar. You can't use the aeroplane, or the smiley face. Question?
Non-breaking white space is a really good troll.
Non-breaking. You know what I wanted to do? What I actually wanted to do was null byte. But you know how long it takes to get like nice code onto these slides? There was no time for null byte. You can do efficient but dangerous things. I did a lot of Perl. Some of you will know I wrote on the beach, and we wrote all that in Perl. I did a lot of Perl before, and you can do cool things like randomly throw a regex statement in, and in $1 will be the result of the first capture group. Cool, until somebody whacks another 50 lines of code here, and then you don't know what the hell's going on, right? Efficient, but dangerous. Ruby, actually I couldn't find my favorite one of these, but there's loads of them where you just randomly throw a load of crap into hash brace, and a nice hash comes out. Wasn't happy about that one. It's efficient. Sometimes you go on Stack Overflow and you're like, I want to do this thing, and they're like, you can do it. I'm like, I won't be doing that. Oh, I'm slipping. There are some things that I think are good but are not intuitive, right? I quite like the fact that you don't need to put braces around an IVAR when you're doing interpolation into a string. I quite like that. A lot of developers in my team go, why have you done this, Sam? That won't work, Sam. I also like a piece of code that not a lot of people do like, which is you can do a here doc, but you can close the method call during the here doc. Even the syntax highlighter doesn't work on this. But I quite like this. We've got a lot of stuff where we're kicking JSON around, so it's nice to be able to whack a load of JSON and not have the closing bracket to the string 25 lines down, right? I don't know. So we had a problem, quite a common problem. We have done a services architecture. I won't say microservices because, you know. But we got this thing where we've got all the services want to call all the other services, and what we really wanted, like everywhere else, was to have a class in each service that represented the data in the other services, so nobody had to worry about HTTP transport or whatever, right? So we thought we want to share a load of code between various services. Now, the way I've done this before, I used to work at a company called Shuttle, and we used Gem Fury, but we used private gems with all these bits of code in, and it was a full nightmare. But I was scared of Git submodules, and people kept saying, well, we just use Git submodules for that. I'm like, nah. But downsides of private gems are many, and I don't think it's about learning. I think it's ongoing misery forever. The permissions for this third-party gem thing were super complicated, and we had to have all these API keys and stuff every time, and onboarding a new person was a nightmare. And I just hated it. And although I'm trying to tell you that Git submodules are worth learning, this is a learning curve too, but I didn't feel happy after it. So I didn't like private gems so much. So I decided maybe it was time to do some actual reading. Maybe it's time to stop being just so lazy and thinking we're too stupid to learn, and use Git submodules. So here's how you actually use these things, which basically aren't bad, but all the commands are stupid. You want to add a git submodule to your code. You do git submodule add, you give it the path to the git, and you give it path to the directory. Then you do git status, and the .git modules and the vendor thing that I'm too lazy to say modules, so I go with submod. They'll be there, and you just commit them. Pretty simple stuff. You want to make a change to that submodule, commit in the submodule, push from the submodule, and then you go into the repos that use that submodule, and you do git submodule update -- remote. Is that remote? I haven't written remove. Good. That does something different. Simple stuff, right? And that pulls in the latest version of head. You can do fancy things where you can bring in given shards and stuff, but yeah. And then that directory is just modified, and you can just commit it. If you change your mind, as normal in Git, you go git checkout -- and everything disappears. No, it's still there. It won't go away. And you're like, oh, I better delete this. No. The perfectly named git submodule update will in fact reset the submodule to the state that it was at before you started, doing what you did and cloning stuff. So I guess that should be called reset or something. I don't know. If you clone a new repo that has submodules in it, you need to do some sweet commands, and these are git submodule init. I won't do the Ali G impression on camera. Git submodule, and your old friend git submodule update brings that code in to your thing. I've not had to push a gem. I've not had to I just have my code. That's quite nice. One thing that I learned from ThoughtWorks developers, of which there may be some in the room, is they like a thing called a Go script. I've heard of places where you go there and they tell you how to install everything with like pages of wiki. I'm very lazy. So all of our repos have this script called Go. It's written, by the way, Sublime or whatever gets real confused by a bash script that's just called Go. And the amount of times I've been like, why is this syntax hiding? Oh, it thinks it's Go. But every one of our repos have these scripts. Most of them are written in bash, but they don't have to be. And they all respond to a few commands like install and run. So git clone, go install, go run. And we've just baked all our submodule stuff into that, so we don't even notice it. And then you do git pull and git update, and that's all the updates. Yeah, they're nice. They're Git, so you can version them, you can control them. You are in control over when a new version comes in. A lot of people use this in a manner where every new change from every submodule is pulled in automatically. That's like deleting your gem file lock every time you unbundle. So it's like, that's a pretty dangerous way to live. It's easy to share the code without the coupling. You can upgrade stuff much later. You can leave stuff on old versions. GitLab, which we use, which if you haven't used it, it's actually pretty decent. GitLab has really good native support for Git submodules, which is nice, and we like it. Does anyone read a Fresh Cup? It's like the best Ruby blog. Well, just maybe it was good, maybe it was not. But there's a really sweet article that they linked to this week, which is a much better introduction to Git submodules than this talk was. I'm not going to take any questions. You can grab me afterwards. I'm Sam. It's nice to have spoken to you.